So we're here at the Health Without Hype podcast, and we have Keziah here, and I will let you introduce yourself for those who don't know you. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
My name's Keziah. I'm an esthetician. I've been an esthetician for actually going on 7 years this month. I became an esthetician because I loved skincare, and then I kind of more dived into like the side of lashes and stuff like that when it became the hype. But now I'm in nursing school, so I'm kind of diving back into like more of the skincare related side and getting more into like more like deeper treatments and stuff. But I've been around for a while.
Yeah, awesome. Yes, and you've been kind of evolving with your whole journey as an esthetician. What do you think is people's biggest misconception about what estheticians do and skincare?
I think the biggest misconception is that like we're gonna be like the biggest like fix all. Like we're literally gonna be like a magic like fixer. Just like we're just gonna make your skin like amazing in one treatment. And I think people don't realize that they actually have to like invest into their skin, just like you would invest into your health. Like, you know, you go to the gym, you're not going to see results in one session. Like, I'm not going to go to the gym and have abs tomorrow. Like, it's not going to happen. So I think people like have that misconception that like, oh, I'm going to get this facial and my skin is going to look like the girls on Instagram. And I'm like, it's a filter.
Yeah.
First off, half the time it's a filter.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
People don't realize that.
Absolutely. And there's been a lot of like, I feel like trending right now is like certain products and you see it on social media. So you want to try it. And so what do you tell people like that ask you about, you know, products that they see online and things like that?
I tell people a lot of the time to try not to like use so many different products. Like people tend to be like, oh, I want to try this and I want to try this and I want to try this. And they're freaking their skin out.
Yeah.
Like, your skin loves consistency, just like our diets. Like, you know, I love to like compare things to like simpler things that people more understand. But like, you know, your diet, like your body likes to have a certain amount of like everything, like proteins, carbs, all that stuff. Your skin is the same way. Your skin likes consistency. It kind of freaks out when you like, if you were to like binge eat, you know, like things like that. Your skin doesn't like when you're like changing things around and like just clogging it up. Like your skin's it's not happy about that. Yeah. And people tend to think that like, oh, this food that I ate broke me out. More than likely the new product that you used last night is what broke you out.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I feel like there's just so much stuff out there about like new products and do this and do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it kind of like makes you feel like you have to do more but it's not necessarily needed. Like,
no, not at all.
But so what do you tell people that are coming in for a facial, you know, and how do you help them like kind of pick what products they should use? And
I kind of see like where their baseline is. Like, what do you use on a regular basis? If I have a client that's like, I like to wash my face and put moisturizer on. Okay, we're going to start simple. Like, you know, I'm not going to give you a 10-step routine. Yes. But like, if you're someone who's like, I really like skincare, but like, you know, I know that I'm not using good products, but like I'm willing to like have a routine, then like, you know, we can talk more in depth. But usually I would just tell someone to like, you know, get a good face wash, a good moisturizer, and a good SPF. And if you can go further than that, like we can go further. Yeah. But, you know, add a retinol, add an acid, different things like that. Because people tend to be like, oh my gosh, my skin's so dry. And I'm like, your skin hasn't seen exfoliation in 6 years. Obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I'm definitely one of the people that's on the drier side. And I think that's something I had to learn is like, I just wanted to put more moisturizer on my face. And I thought like, oh, I just need a better moisturizer. And it's like, well, it can't get to your skin because you're not like, you know,
you're not getting those dead skin layers off. Yeah.
So I think that's another thing is like finding out like, where's the real problem? And I feel like people just, again, like for me,
almost like a top, they like want to like
just put more stuff on top.
Yeah. They want to put stuff on and they don't realize like you got to take some stuff off actually to get in there.
I think that's a super important part because like for me that was like the hardest thing for me to like understand is like I've always had dry skin my whole life and like I never really liked exfoliating. It was just something like even like my like body. I was just always like trying to put more lotion on it. And I just feel like you have to like understand that like the lotion can't go in if you have a lot of dry skin cell built up.
Like especially like I'll see people that are like flaking and they're like, yeah, I don't understand why my moisturizer is not working. And I'm like, oh, I understand why it's not.
So I think like people just don't, that's not something that's like one of those common things that you think. I feel like a lot of like marketing is around moisturizers. So everybody thinks that they need more moisturizers.
Like all the ads you see, it's always like all these like serums and moisturizers. And I'm like, add some exfoliation, please. Like, your skin's begging you. And it doesn't have to be the scrubs. I know some people don't like the scrubs, but you know, a good acid. Anything with a good acid is going to be a chemical exfoliant. And it's going to work so well, and it penetrates even deeper into those like dead skin cells. So it's going to slough it off, but you're not even going to notice it because it is a chemical. Like it's just kind of going to do it on its own. You're not like manually exfoliating it. So I feel like that's where some people like, they don't like the feeling of the exfoliation, or maybe they don't like that their skin gets a little red. I know that's a big thing. Like people are like, oh but my skin turned red. I'm like, you're manually doing something. That's normal. It's skin, you know?
And I think just knowing that it's normal, like it's not bad. It's not like this is too strong. It's just kind of like part of it. Like for me, my skin always gets red. Like you've worked on me many times. Like I just get red right away. And for me, that was always like one of the reasons I didn't like exfoliating, because my face would get really red. But like now I realize that it's like necessary, or else like I'm just putting all these serums on and it's not even going in.
And it just shows that your skin's alive. Like I think that's just something that people don't realize. Like I know I'm darker skinned and like people would never think like, oh, your skin gets red. Like my skin gets red too. Like, you know, maybe not as noticeable, but completely totally normal. Like if I don't see my skin get red, I'd probably be like, what's going on?
Yeah,
like,
I need it's like just a normal reaction. So I think that's some of the
not
things.
Like red where it's lasting red. Like I don't want people to think like, oh my God, your skin's
I need
gonna
to
be
scrub
red.
till it's like
bleeding. Like just like a normal like flush. Like that's a normal like experience, you know, especially if you have sensitive skin. Like, you know, just a little flush is perfectly normal. Yeah.
Good to know. So I think a lot of people have confusion around the stuff with beads in it. We've heard that they're not good, they're good. Like sometimes I've heard like the bead ones are okay, but the ones that are like not smooth beads are bad. Like tell us more about those. How do you find the right exfoliator?
That one really does trip me up too, because like I know your generation, and I think like the beginning of my generation, like we all use that apricot scrub.
Yes.
And that one is like the biggest one. And I think it's more so because it's not smooth is the reason why they're bad. Okay. But I still like get a little thrown off with the beads thing, honestly. And I just trust the brand that I purchase because like I've listened to so many of their like, you know, scientists talk about it. And I think that I know that their stuff works, but I would be a little skeptical on like other brands,
like drugstore stuff. Yeah, like you just don't know the quality.
Don't know, the quality of it. Like I trust Face Reality. I trust the products that they have. I've never had an issue, but at the same time, like if you're buying the apricot scrub, your skin's probably a little stressed.
Because it's like scratching it.
It's a little, it's more irritating. It's going to cause like micro tears on your skin is more so what happens. You do want to find those ones with the smooth beads, but it's so hard to find that in drugstore because drugstore doesn't always like disclose everything with their products. I feel like they're more like they tell you what you want to know
so that you buy it.
Yeah. They're like we're going to use these keywords that are like, you know, the fancy words, and we're not going to tell you actually like everything.
Yeah. So what do you, we talked a little bit about this, like kind of building that foundation. So for people who are using like, you know, drugstore face wash or whatever, you know, having them pivot, you know, sometimes it's an expense type of, the other brands are a little bit more pricey. I will say like Face Reality,
is very affordable.
And like you get a pretty big size bottle. So I think it's like investing into it, like anything in your health. Like, you know, if you're going to spend a little bit more money, but you're going to be able to, you know that the product's working well and is safe for your skin and it's like specific to your skin type. I think it's the values there instead of, you know, and
I think also having someone like, you know, guide you in your products, like instead of like, you know, you go into a drugstore and you're like, which one do I buy?
Yeah, you're literally just looking at the packages. And I mean, even some higher end retailers, not just drugstores, but like Sephora or Ulta, you feel the same way. And like, again, those people in there, they're not, it's not that they're bad. It's just, they just really don't know your skin that well. They're just going based off of kind of like what you're telling them. And again,
but sometimes what you're telling them isn't actually even like
the issue. Well, like you said, if you go in there and tell them your face is dry, they're going to probably sell you a moisturizer.
Yep.
In reality, you need
have someone to go dive a little deeper, like what's going on.
Exactly.
And I've seen people that are actually really oily and they're slapping moisturizer on their skin too, because they're also drying their skin out at the same time. So like they're so oily that now their skin's tight, and they're like, why is my skin so tight? And then they're slapping moisturizer, and they're kind of just like in a kind of like
circle,
like a circle kind of thing. Yeah. It's like, okay, your skin was oily, so you dried it out, but now your skin's tight, so now you're adding more oil. Like you have to kind of be. I think people got really crazy on that like matte skin trend, and now we're going back towards the glowy skin trend. Yeah. And I think some people are still stuck in that matte skin trend where they're like, I don't want to look sweaty. And I'm like,
I don't want to look oily.
Yeah. I'm like, but like you have to understand, like oily skin, like I would die to have oily skin because they don't wrinkle as bad. Like people don't even like know that. Like oily skin is less likely to have wrinkles because it has that oil. People with dry skin, we're just cracking all the time, So like we're more likely to see wrinkles.
Fine lines, like
exactly. So I definitely am like, if you have oily skin, embrace it. Like accept it, keep it moisturized, don't dry it out. Like I definitely see that's a thing. But I think that people go to like all those stores and everything, and they kind of just like pick and choose what they want when they could just go to an esthetician and like,
get products that are actually tailored to them and are like, you may spend a little bit more, but like you're actually
sometimes
getting
not even.
And I mean, I'm sure because like, I know Sephora and Ulta
I was just gonna say
stuff.
Sephora, like I've seen products that are like $50-$60 and I'm like, that's a toner.
Yeah.
And honestly, you don't, if someone really asked me like, do I need a toner in my routine? Like, unless you really want one. Like,
it's not like one of those ones where you're like, if we built this foundation, you probably wouldn't need toner.
Like a toner, if you threw it in the routine, I'd be like, throw it out.
Yeah.
Like, let's get something better.
Yeah.
Because, people think that that's a step. Yeah. People want to cut down their steps. They want a 3-step or 4-step routine. I'm not going to add the toner if that's going to be like a make it or break it in the steps, Yeah. So absolutely. I think just like, having a good routine, but like done by an esthetician. Is more so. So,
what do you tell people that like come in for a really expensive facial and then, they're, getting something at a drugstore or Sephora? How do you help them kind of navigate finding that balance?
I try to tell them like more so, what is your end goal with your skin? Like, are you doing this to treat yourself? Are you doing this because you want to relax? Or are you doing this because you want to see a change in your skin? I feel like that's a big difference in like certain people. I thankfully have a lot of like acne clients, so they want to see a difference. They want to see a change in their skin, but I feel like sometimes I'll get the clients that like, they're more just here to treat themselves. Like, they get one facial a year and they don't really necessarily care about their skin's health or like what they're using on their skin. So I think that that's the difference. But I usually will tell them like, I think you should try to switch a few of your products if you can. Like, if you don't want to spend money on a face wash, like, okay, let's figure out a face wash that works for your skin. Let's find something that actually like works for you. But also like, let's try to add some other products in. Some people are diehard about their products. They're like, no, this product is the best product ever. And then you look at their skin and you're like, it's not, but
okay.
I'll let you be like, I just think you have to like give and take where a client is.
You have to meet them where they're at.
Meet them where they're at. And like, if you are diehard about this product, like, okay, well, let me add this to your routine and you tell me how it like works
for you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the time that's what's worked for me is like, I'll order someone like a Mandelic serum and they'll try it and they'll be like, oh my gosh, after I use that Mandelic serum, my skin feels amazing. Like I actually think I want to buy another product from that line. So I think it's more like
just finding that
one product that could probably like turn their whole routine that they'll be more willing to spend a little bit on those other products. And still like Face Reality is such a more affordable brand that I'm usually able to kind of like convince people in that sense. It's not, I mean, the face wash is, I think, 35, like, or starts around 35. Most drugstores are about like 25.
Yeah,
I'm like, drugstore is getting expensive now. Yeah. So I'm like, it's not $10 extra. Like, I have some people that has been their reasoning. They're like, you know what? Yeah, like, my drugstore is almost the same price. They're like, I might as well buy something a little bit better. And they see the results.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about like exfoliating type washes and stuff. Talk a little bit about, you mentioned Mandelic. And so people might not know what that is. Yeah. I didn't know what that was. And like when you first told me about it, I didn't really think I needed it, but I did.
Yeah. So Mandelic is a chemical exfoliant. It's derived from bitter almonds. So unfortunately, if you are allergic to almonds, you cannot use it. But a good option if you are allergic to almonds is salicylic, or you can use glycolic. There's so many good acids, and they're all derived from natural things. So like, you know, they're all derived from different plants, fruits, vegetables, like different stuff like that. But I love Mandelic. It works so well, and it doesn't irritate the skin is probably the best explanation of it. Like, it doesn't irritate the skin in the sense that like people feel like they notice it, I guess. It's kind of just like a serum that they put on, and it works. It works great. It helps clear acne. It helps clear the pores. It helps get that dead skin off. And it's just so gentle that people don't like freak out about it, I guess you could say.
You do get a little bit of a tingle.
Some people, I think that
it's like if you have sensitive skin. I would say
sensitive skin or like really dry skin, because I noticed the little tingle, but like I've asked my oily clients and they're like, no.
They don't
They're like, I don't feel a thing.
Okay.
So I think that's definitely the difference. Like, even with the chemical peels, I've noticed that like my oily skin clients, they hardly notice it.
So is it like basically like a less strong chemical peel?
Yes.
So
basically.
It's like a maintenance chemical peel, you would say. Kind like at home, it's like what you're doing at home to kind of get that same, like it's getting all that buildup off of there.
It's kind of just keeping up with like what you're doing in like if you are getting if you're getting treatments, like you're basically keeping up with it so that you're not back at square one every single week. Like, you know, every single time you go back to get your facial, your skin's not like, oh, you're still at the same spot, you know? Yes. So that way, like, you're actually able to target different things. A lot of people will want to target pigment. It does help with pigment also. It helps with brightening. It helps with those different things. Some people may think like, oh, she's talking about just acne products. But these products, you don't have acne and you use them. So, and I get some like little spots here and there, but I don't have like full-fledged, you know, severe acne, and I can still use the products and they work great. They work great for anti-aging. My mom uses them, and my mom's in her 60s. So, and you know, it works. It works. Those products will still work for anybody.
Yeah. I think a lot of skincare is like very like the same essentials work for a lot of different skin types, because it's like it's just about keeping your skin more clean and keeping exfoliating it and then moisturizing it. And it's like once you find the right like products, you know, and you're balanced out, then it's easier to maintain good skin as well. Like you do get, even if you're not like an acne person, you still probably are getting occasional breakouts.
Yeah,
and you see,
everybody usually has some blackheads. Like people will say it all the time, like, I don't have any blackheads. And I'm like, oh girl, wait.
Yeah. You're like, no. Is it? I'm sure you feel like that too. Like when you see people's skin now, you're kind of like analyzing it and stuff like that.
I definitely do that more than I'd like to admit. Like I'm looking at my friends and I'm like, oh, that's new. Like where did that come from? But I'm not going to say it.
Yes.
But yeah, no, you definitely analyze everything.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about like being an acne specialist and kind of what you do for clients that have acne.
So for my acne clients, they all are on acne boot camp. So they come every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then some of them are now on like 4 or 5 weeks. It just depends on like how your skin's reacting to the treatments. You do have to purchase all your Face Reality products. I don't let people be on acne boot camp without purchasing products, because at that point you're just throwing money at skin that's not going to do anything. You know, that is a lot of I feel like acne is more 50-50 than like traditional skincare. you are dependent on the treatments that we're doing. You know, a lot of people that have, it's called non-inflamed acne. It actually doesn't respond as well to products as inflamed acne. Inflamed acne is just what it is. It's inflamed, it's stressed, it's like, you know, it's red. But non-inflamed is deep in the skin. It's deep in the pore. It needs that exfoliation. So those clients, I feel like, are the ones that you take a little bit longer, but we're doing a lot of like extractions. We're doing chemical peels. We're doing that every 2 weeks until we get them clear. And I've seen a lot of success with like just doing those extractions. I know they're painful. I hate doing them to myself too, but I love doing them to other people.
Yes.
They're my favorite part of any treatment.
And the before and afters, I mean, speak for themselves. I mean, like very severe acne, you have cleared up pretty much completely. And then once it's kind of cleared, you know, they have less frequency.
That's kind of when I move them into like, I'll look at their skin and be like, okay, let's move to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, let's see how your skin reacts at 3 weeks also. Then they'll come in. If they're doing really well at 3 weeks, all right, let's move you to 4 weeks. You know, you don't have to come as often. You know, I know that committing to every 2 weeks is, you know, that is a commitment.
Yeah.
And so once I see that like your skin is responding well, I'm going to boost you out. You know, I'm not going to force you to come every 2 weeks still. And then, you know, some people, I've had clients that go away to college and they come back once, twice a year, you know, when they can for
when they're visiting their parents
during
or
their breaks.
Yeah.
And I'll see their skin. It still looks great, but they're keeping on top of their products.
They're still getting the products.
They're still getting their products.
Yeah.
And when they do come into town, you know, they'll get their acne clearing. You know, we'll do an acne boot camp treatment. We'll do a peel real quick and everything and do those extractions. But it's so much less than when they started. And it just becomes that. So like, you know, when they start, the extractions might take like a good 20, 30 minutes. But then by the end, we're doing a 5-minute extractions. You know, we're doing them real quick. You know, they're going to come out a lot faster too, because when you're exfoliating, it's kind of going to slip out. Like when I'm doing the extractions, but when you're not exfoliating, there's just that dead skin. I'm like almost forcing it out, trying to get that stuff out
through all the skin layers.
So sometimes I try to get my acne boot campers to start with products first before they even do the treatment.
To try to get some of the skin like exfoliated.
I found that works a little bit better, but some people are so like, I decided to get a treatment. I want the treatment today.
Yes.
And, you know, I will work with you, of course. Like, you know, I'm not going to say no. But I have found that, like, if you do start the products, like, 2 weeks ahead of getting that first treatment, your skin just, like, it accepts it a lot more. It accepts the extractions a lot better.
Yeah,
because there's not that dead skin layer on top. You know, the peel helps a little bit. It does help with the extraction. It kind of softens them up a little bit, but it's not as much as if you had already started products and like, you know, you're kind of already exfoliating, getting that dead skin off, because that is the biggest part is getting that dead skin off. And that's what acne is. It's dead skin in the cells. Like it's in your pores, dead skin in your pores. And people don't realize that either. And an acne like pore just sheds dead skin faster. It's really what it is. So everything really ties into exfoliation and dead skin.
Sounds like it.
It literally like it just circles all around. But like aging, it's usually, you know, when your skin starts to look a little crepey, dead skin, exfoliate. You need to exfoliate. Acne, exfoliate. Like, I feel like everything, like, I will preach to everybody, and everybody probably hates hearing me, but, like, exfoliate, please. Like, that's the biggest part in at least for me, like...
That's what you've seen.
I will always tell everybody, I'm like, exfoliate, please.
You've seen a lot of people's skin, and I know you're the acne specialist, but you do have a lot of clients that are also looking for anti-aging and things like that. So let's dive into that a little bit more. You did mention, like, exfoliating is also important there, but what do you recommend to those clients that are seeing, like, fine lines or deep lines, and what do you do differently for them versus the acne clients?
I feel like I kind of do it very similarly. I feel like it's worked in the sense that like it's your skin's not that very like that much different in the sense of acne and wrinkles. Like we're all trying to treat a target problem. And I feel like a big thing for wrinkles is exfoliating, moisturizing. It is those two things, but like you have to get that dead skin off to moisturize, because wrinkles are just like, you know, it is aging. It's a sign of aging. We can't get rid of wrinkles unless we do Botox, you know, stuff like that. And not everybody wants that. But we can improve them by doing chemical peels and stuff like that and exfoliating. and it's just going to help with getting that dead skin off. That's really what is going to help with wrinkles. And I think a lot of people don't realize that is like, you just need to slough off that dead skin to like reveal that skin that's underneath. You know, everybody has that like more glowy skin, that more smooth skin underneath. You just need to work at it. I mean, retinol is going to be a really good product to use if you are more anti-aging, but you can also still use any of those other chemicals that I mentioned earlier, the glycolic, the salicylic. Glycolic actually works really well for anti-aging. And so does mandelic. Salicylic, I feel like, is
More
one that
acne.
I don't really touch with salicylic a whole lot. It's not my favorite. I tend to use it only for my clients who are allergic to
Other
nuts.
things.
Yeah. It's usually like, okay, if you're allergic to nuts, I guess we can use salicylic, you know?
Makes sense.
So that's usually one that I don't lean towards, but glycolic is really great for anti-aging. Mandelic is, and retinol is a big one too. And that one, I feel like a lot of people are getting more into retinols recently.
Yeah, I feel like people, you're either like love it, like I feel like a lot of people got prescribed it from their dermatologist like, 10, 15 years ago. And then some people are like, I don't want to use it at all. They're scared of it. They think they're going to get a lot of like redness.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that. How do you avoid that, or how do you use that?
You have to like kind of, and the way to explain it is more like gradually. You have to like gradually get your skin acclimated to it. So it's not one of those products that you're going to be like, I just got this new product, I'm going to use it morning and night. Okay. That's the big thing. Don't use it in the morning, please.
Okay.
Please do not use it in the morning. It is photosensitive. So like it is sensitive to the sun. You're going to burn your skin. You're going to cause yourself more hyperpigmentation. You have to wash it off in the morning. You have to use it at nighttime, and you need to wash your face in the morning because leaving that product on your skin is actually going to cause more damage. So I think a lot of people aren't really looking at like the instructions, more so they're just going blindly into it, and they're like, well, I'm just going to use this every day. And their skin, they've never exfoliated a day in their life. Their skin is going to freak out. They might peel really bad. I feel like that's one that I've seen that people have peeled because they've never exfoliated before. Of course, your skin's gonna...
Yeah, so it starts sloughing off.
Yeah, so it starts sloughing off. So I think just using it like in a routine, but like make sure that you're leaving days in between.
Yeah,
when you're
so
starting.
when you start out gradually, maybe do it like a couple days a week and do it at night and then wash it off. And like these are things that like if you go buy a product, at a drugstore or a cosmetic store, you might not get all of those instructions. So you may be using something and like causing more harm. I remember like probably 10 years ago, I bought some scrub or something, I was just trying to, just fix, I had a dark spot. And, but when I used it, I felt like when I was driving, it was almost, and so it was actually making it worse. So because it had the Retin A in it to lighten the dark patches, but I wore it out on my face during the day. And so my dark spot actually ended up getting worse because it caused that. So, and I think that's like so many things out there. Like if you don't use it correctly, you're actually going to damage your skin more. And like, I feel like, if you're using the different stuff like mandelic or certain moisturizers or serums or Retin A, and you don't know what you're doing, you actually could cause more harm to your skin and not get the results. And then that might be why a lot of people don't like Retin A because they're like, I had this bad experience. Like for me, I was like, I'm not using it again. I'm not going to try it because
and I think the big thing is maybe not even using one that is prescription strength. If you're nervous, buy one from, if you buy one from an esthetician, your esthetician can tell you
get a low percentage.
Which one is a lower percentage. Like I love my Face Reality one, but it is a lower percentage. It is... Retin has different levels to it. Oh yeah,
for sure.
So, there's different ones that they need to turn over a certain amount of times before they kind of pass through the cell. And, obviously the prescription one is going to be the strongest one. Use one that's not as strong.
Yeah, especially when you're getting started.
Start at one that's not as strong and work your way up. If you even feel like you need it. Yeah. Because some people don't. I mean, I've used the Face Reality one. I've used the Glymed one. Another great one is the Skin Better one. Skin Better has an amazing retinol. Theirs is Alpha Ret. that one's amazing, but I will say that one is stronger. So I feel like that's more for like your diehard like skincare people. Like, and it is that one is definitely on the higher end of the price point.
Yeah.
Like it is definitely on the higher end. But I mean, if you're wanting to see those results, you'll see those results with that one.
Yeah.
But if you're looking more for like, a starter basic routine, start with a Face Reality one. Start with Glymeds. Glymed is still it's a little bit like a step up from Face Reality. But, just see where you are financially, like where your budget is and how much you want to spend, honestly. Like some people see how your skin responds to it and then work your way up. Yeah. But I think that retinol is a great option to have, especially with anti-aging, because I know that was where we started, was anti-aging. Retinol is a great one to have, but I think that a lot of people get a little nervous about it. So I think that just like using it properly, not overusing it, and making sure that you're wearing your SPF. SPF is also a huge product to have in your routine. Like that is probably one of my other, like, you need to have this. Like no matter what else you buy, like you need an SPF for sure.
Why do you think so many people skip that one?
I think that people, like, I know the whole, like, oh, there's, like, cancer-causing ingredients, but I've worn SPF for years, and I mean, I've never had any skin cancer scares, and I think it's the type of SPF that people are buying. A lot of people don't like the smell.
The smells,
I think the smell is a huge one because I carry an SPF that actually does not smell like SPF. And it actually smells kind of like cucumbers.
Cucumber, yeah. It's very
I
nice.
have found that people are more willing to purchase it because they like, I'll put it on their face and they're like, oh my God, this smells so good. They're like, what is this? And I'm like, well, actually, it's not meant to smell like cucumbers. It just happens to smell like cucumbers. Like, it wasn't created to smell like that. Yeah, it just
has like a refreshing smell. Yeah, it's similar. It's not like scented.
It's not purposely scented. I actually even talked to the people like at the brand, like at one of the beauty shows. I was like, why does it smell like cucumbers? And they're like, it was literally just the way that everything mixed together. Like, it just happened to smell like that. They're like, there's no added fragrance, though. But people like it. They like the feeling of it. It's more of a smooth
I feel like a lot of sunscreens are very cakey.
And have that white cast.
Yeah, and so you put it on, like, say you're going to wear it under your makeup, and then if you take a picture, you feel like you look washed out
that
or
flashback,
weird.
Yeah. So SPF does cause that flashback, but I feel like protecting your skin is a little bit more important.
Well, and I feel like if you use the one that you carry or like a similar one that's more moisturizing, it doesn't do it as much. So.
Yeah, no, it definitely... I don't feel like I see that flashback like crazily, but I think a lot of people really like it because of the scent. Honestly, I feel like that is the biggest thing that I've heard from people is like,
for me, I love the scent of this. Definitely helpful, but for me, it's more the texture because my skin's already dry. Yeah. So I feel like when I use other sunscreens, it kind of makes it feel more dry, or like because it has like that mattifying effect.
It does,
and so that's why I always like don't like wearing SPFs because they just give my skin that like that filmy feel and that dry feel. And like a lot of times I don't wear makeup like day to day, so like I'm just not gonna put sunscreen on and then have that like that film on my face, you know? So I like that it doesn't do that, and it actually gives you like a dewy after.
Like a glow. Yeah, no, definitely you look more glowy with this one. Yeah. We're talking about the Clear Choice Sport Shield. I realized I never said which one I'm talking about. But they also have one for acne that is mattifying, and I've used it. I always joke that it smells like my grandma. It smells like Bengay. Like it smells like that topical that you put for pain.
So it might not be the best one for people who don't like scents.
Yeah, so it smells like that. I have no idea why. I also asked them that. They
just said that whatever's
they're like, it's just the way that everything's compounded. It's not purposely like scented that way, but I think it's so funny because the moment I smelled it, I was like, oh, this is interesting, but it actually works for acne. It has properties in it that help with acne. So that one is good for my acne boot camp clients.
It's important if you already are prone to acne not to use something that's going to make it worse.
There are sunscreens that will clog your pores. Yeah, that is something that people also don't see is a lot of like the pore cloggers. That's a huge one that a lot of people don't pay attention to is like looking at their makeup. Why am I getting a breakout on where I put my bronzer?
And it's like your bronzer has a bunch of stuff in it that's just clogging your pores.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, I fall victim to that I know why I have breakouts on my bronzer line, and it's because my bronzer is probably not good for that spot. You know, that is my trigger spot. And I like to put my bronzer there, and I'm still going to do it. And that's okay.
At least you know why,
I'm like,
right?
I think if you know why and you're okay with it, then that's fine. But, you know, I think people have to like look into the different things that they're using.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a lot of good makeup brands out there that don't have those ingredients? Or I feel like it's like some of the ones that are like more safe or natural, they're just not as pigmented.
I was just going to say, I feel like sometimes you're sacrificing that like payoff with the makeup, like the longevity of it. I know a lot of people will use Color Science, which I really like. Color Science, they actually have tinted stuff. So like they have a tinted SPF. It works great. It isn't super moisturizing feeling. It does feel more like a foundation.
Okay.
But it also it has like a color technology. So it goes on white. Like when you're rubbing it in, it's when it starts changing colors and it matches your skin.
Oh yeah, I think you told me
I really like that one.
Cool.
But like that, I feel like that one's good for people that maybe like you who don't wear a lot of makeup. Like you could probably feel like, oh, I put a lot of makeup on today. Yes. And it's like all you did was put your SPF on.
Yeah.
And they have SPF blush, they have SPF bronzer. But like their products are really good for acne. So they have, you know, a whole line that is better for that type of skin. Although at the same time, I do feel like the color, it's just the longevity of it for me. Yeah. I love to do makeup. Makeup is also one of my passions. So I feel like I would rather sacrifice.
Yeah. And I mean, it does, you know, if you're doing it for like a big event or you know you're going to be taking a lot of pictures, then you know that's the payoff and, you know, that's fine. Yeah. I do find that like a lot of the makeups that are more natural, they don't have.
They don't have that color payoff.
It's just because they can't. Without chemicals, you just can't get that pigment or whatever.
No, I feel like when you're going natural, like there's certain colors that you can get really good color payoff. Like, you know, like obviously like reds, purples, blues, like, but like when you get into more like the skin tone shades, I feel like they almost look just like you dusted color on, and it's not like
as intense.
It's not that like if you want to cover something, you can't cover something with those products, at least in my experience.
Yeah. So, talking about makeup, what is your recommendation for people that maybe aren't doing like a full skincare routine after, you know, big makeup day, or like, what do you recommend?
So if you are not washing your makeup off, I have heard people literally say like, oh, that makeup lasted me all weekend. And I'm like, what? How did you sleep first off? Did you sleep like the dead?
Yeah.
Or like, what did you do? And then at the same time, I'm like, please wash your face.
Yeah.
Please wash your face. You are clogging your pores up so bad. Like,
so it's not only clogging your pores because you're just leaving the makeup in there to settle. Like, what happens at night when you're to your skin, you know? And
that's when your cells are turning over.
Yeah. So like, you're literally like stopping your skin from like looking better, breathing.
Your skin's not breathing. Your skin's not turning over. Yeah. It's just kind of I just feel like your skin is just gonna look like bleh.
Yeah, no, it's
no other way to explain it.
Yeah, it's like the one rule I feel like luckily I got like ingrained in me pretty early is like you have to take your makeup off. Yeah. But like I feel like some people didn't, and it's definitely like it's one of those things. It's like if you're not doing that, you shouldn't do anything else except like just step one.
Step one is please wash your face at
night and take makeup
even if
off.
you can't wash it in the morning yet, like you're not at that level yet.
Yeah,
please just wash it at night.
Yeah,
and I always tell people that like wash off the day. Yeah. And I even tell my lash clients that because my lash clients are like, oh, I wash my lashes in the morning. Yeah. And I'm like, but you slept with all of that day's dirt, oils. You know, if you're walking outside, you're getting dirt on your lashes. No matter if you don't think you're walking through, you know, dirt, the wind is blowing. There is dirt that's going to be on your lashes. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, you just slept with that on your lashes. Like you washed your face, but you didn't wash your lashes. Yeah. So I always tell people, I'm like, at least wash your lashes at nighttime. Yeah. Wash your face at nighttime. Like you need to get those things off. You need to get the day off. Yeah. Like you don't need to go to bed and then wake up and like you just rolled around in your sheets with that. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's more like me and like I'm like germs. Yeah.
No, and I think it's a good point. It's like even if you're like not wearing makeup, you know, you're still getting and all those things that we encounter throughout the day, different dirt, pollution, that's all getting in your pores. People don't realize that those invisible things are still like, you know,
they're
especially
still on your skin.
Yeah, they're getting in your skin, they're setting on your skin. And if you go to sleep, it's going into your pores. And if you don't wash your face before bedtime, even if you're not wearing makeup, there's stuff there on your face that needs
That's a big, like those are, we call them extrinsic aging factors. And that is outside pollution. And people don't realize that is an aging factor. Just like, you know, there are internal aging factors, there's also outside pollutants are a huge one too. And I think people don't realize that. A good one to target for the extrinsic is vitamin C, putting that on in the morning. I'm not a huge vitamin C person, so I'm not the best to always ask about that. But that is one that people tend to like for that type of anti-aging.
Okay, and that's like a cream you put on.
It's a serum. But some companies carry like moisturizers that have it in there. So like I do have a line that carries, like I carry Hydrinity, and they have a moisturizer that has vitamin C. So I feel like that's more like, that's the only time I'm going to use vitamin C. I try to keep my routine simple too. Like I'm also not trying to have a 10-step
routine.
I'm like, if I don't really feel like I die hard need that, I'm not going to add it. Just like I don't force that on my clients. I'm like, I don't think that you need that product. Yeah. Like if it came down to like, these are the products, like this is how many products I want, I'm not going to add that one. There's certain things that I'll throw out for the cause of getting other products.
Yeah. Makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about the extrinsic, intrinsic thing that you mentioned. So what are some things that maybe aren't like what people normally think, like, oh, let me get a new cream, let me get a new wash for my face? Like, what are the other things that people are doing internally that are affecting their skin?
Smoking. Drinking.
Okay.
Your diet. Yeah. I feel like those are the three big ones, honestly. Yeah. Those are three big ones that are going to affect your skin's health. I mean, especially if you're smoking, you're going to get those smoker's lines. It's very common. A lot of people don't realize it, but smoking causes so many issues. I know you know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Medically, it causes so many issues, but it also affects your skin. Your skin starts to get a little bit more crepey. It loses that, like the elasticity. It loses that bounce because smoking causes constriction. And so it's not causing, it's not helping your blood flow back to your skin. Alcohol, it's
a dehydrating.
Yeah, I feel like these are all things that kind of cause dehydration, basically. And then, your diet. Your diet is a huge thing. If you're out here eating McDonald's every single day of the week, your skin's going to show it. Like, you might have really greasy skin. You might notice, that your face is more on the pudgy side, like you're gonna see that more like inflammation,
swelling,
swelling. There we go. That's better. You're gonna see the swelling of your skin.
Basically, your face and your skin. Your skin's your biggest organ. It's a reflection of the things you're doing day to day. And
it's crazy that people don't want to take care of their biggest organ.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
Literally, the one thing that people can see is the one that like people are like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think
your
drinking water is a big one.
Drinking water, yes, for sure. So, getting your electrolytes and, making sure that you're keeping yourself balanced, not drinking soda all day long or coffee. Yeah. I think that's also a huge one is caffeine. Caffeine, it is a dehydrator. Yes. And people don't think about that. They're like, oh my God, my skin's so dry. And I'm like, have you had water?
Yeah, like you've just been drinking coffee all day or energy drinks and things like that.
And your skin's it's going to be dehydrated. Even if you have oily skin, your skin's going to have signs of dehydration.
Yeah, I think some people don't realize, like, sometimes your skin gets oily because it's been so dry.
Because it's dry. Yeah. Yes,
and so then it starts like, I've learned that initially because of, like, the scalp. So the scalp skin, of course, it's just the same skin, Yeah. But a lot of people... It has
different, like, properties to it, though. Like,
but a lot of people always, like, would come to me for dandruff and, like, think that they had dry scalp. But in reality, they had, like, such oily scalp and they just needed to, like exfoliate it, and then but they would like start seeing like oil, like it would get oily after, but they would have flakes, so they were like confused. They're like, is it I'm like, no, it's so oily and there's buildup. It's not dandruff.
It's not dandruff. It's literally just buildup.
And people will buy dandruff shampoos and then they just say it gets worse, and it's like because you're just like adding to the fire, so
pissing off your
it's
scalp,
literally just getting irritated now. So I think a lot of people do that, with skincare as well, like we talked about. But
I think it's like people try to find a quick fix. Yeah. And they don't think about, like, let me ask somebody who, like, actually knows.
Like, why is my skin suddenly so oily when it used to be drier? It was never this, oily.
And it's like, did you dry it out so bad that now it, like, forced itself to make its own extra oils? Like, your skin... I mean, we were made to kind of like,
adapt.
Our bodies were made to adapt. Our bodies were made to like help themselves. I mean, our body can heal itself as much as it can, like, it tries to. So I think our skin will notice like, oh, hey, this homegirl's not moisturizing at all.
Yeah,
like,
I think
I'm gonna add
I've
some
noticed that
moisturize.
before with certain makeups. Do you feel like certain foundations like are more drying? And you talked about the mattifying trend. So it's like I noticed previously I used some foundations and then I feel like I got really oily like halfway through the day. Do you think it's kind of like the same?
So like, I mean, when you look at the foundations, a lot of them will say dewy or matte. So like if you grab one that's dewy, oh, it's gonna be dewy. Like I feel like, but also the thing is people tend to not set their makeup. So like you who's dry, you'd be like, no, I don't want to set it. I don't want it to be dry.
Yeah.
But it's like you still have to set your makeup. And so
makes
that
sense.
if you're trying to combat the dew, you want to balance it. Cause at that point, if you wipe your face, it's just going to come off. You never set it. You didn't lock it in place. You have to have those steps of making sure the makeup stays on there. And I think that that's something that people skip that step. Yeah. I have clients all the time that they'll be like, oh no, I don't set my makeup. And I'm like, no wonder your makeup is all on my hand.
Yeah.
Because especially since I do lashes, like girls will come in with foundation sometimes. And I've literally had people where I lifted my hand off and there was a whole mark of where my hands were.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did that happen? Like that's never happened to me, and I've worn foundation to appointments, but it's because they didn't set their makeup. So I mean, literally all it is just liquid lifting off.
Wow. Yeah, so definitely some misconceptions there. What's your favorite setting spray or thing to use for setting?
Setting spray would have to be the One Size setting spray. It looks like a hairspray bottle, and it feels like you're spraying hairspray on your face, but it locks it in. Okay. It does not budge. It does not move. And there's a new powder that's kind of like more gotten some hype after a TikToker like started posting a lot about it. She like posts a lot of like drugstore routines. She's really great. Her name's Shelby. Shelby. And she posted the L'Oreal setting powder. And I started using that one and I actually really like it. Okay. And I'm like, dang, I've been spending $30-$40 on setting powders. And this one's like, I think 12.
Oh, wow.
So it's like definitely a good I do try to look for some of those like drugstores so that when people ask me, I do try to have some sort of drugstore like recommendation on makeup. It is hard for me to try like drugstore skincare. I can't bring myself to do it. I'm like, I like my products, but like makeup, I'm always a little bit more willing to like try different products like that. And I think that one was a great wow, I've been spending all this money and this powder is so much better. Yeah. So that's definitely one of my favorite ones.
So where can people find you, follow you, give us all your things?
Actually, all my social media is at Keziah X Beauty. So I make it really easy for everyone, which I know my name's not the easiest. So it's KEZIAH and then X and then beauty.
And that's Instagram, TikTok.
I think that's really all I have for my business is Instagram and TikTok, and that is also my website too. So
awesome. Well, we'll definitely provide that in the notes, and definitely see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Good job.